My dear brothers and sisters, I come before you today with an open heart and a steadfast spirit to remind you of a simple, powerful truth. Trust God, for everything happens in time. We are a people in a hurry. Oh yes, we rush from moment to moment, searching for answers, yearning for solutions, aching for success, longing for love. We want the blessings of tomorrow delivered today, and the wisdom of a lifetime given in a moment. But my friends, life does not work on our schedule. No, it moves on God's time. There is a season for planting and a season for reaping, a time to laugh and a time to cry, a time to be strong and a time to be still. And in all these moments, we must trust that God knows what he is doing. When the storms of life rage and the path is unclear, we must remember God is not late. He is not indifferent. He is not absent. He is working, even in the silence, even in the waiting. God's timing is perfect. Oh yes, I said it and I will say it again so you hear me with your heart and not just your ears. God's timing is perfect. Now, I know that is not always what we want to hear. We are a people who like things quick. We want our answers fast, our blessings now, our problems solved yesterday. We live in a world of instant gratification, fast food, fast internet, fast money. But you see, my dear ones, God is not on our clock. No, he moves with purpose, with wisdom, and with divine precision. We struggle with waiting because we think delay means denial. Oh, how many of us have cried out, Lord, where are you? Why haven't you answered me? Have you forgotten me? And in our despair and our impatience, we start to doubt. We try to fix things on our own. We try to force open doors that were never meant for us, or we give up too soon, walking away from our blessings because they didn't arrive when we thought they should. But let me tell you something. God does not make mistakes. No, he does not miscalculate, and he is never late. When God moves, he moves at the right time, in the right way, and for the right reason. Think of a mother carrying her child. She does not decide on a whim when to give birth. The child is not born at 1 month or 3 months because it would not survive. No, the child must grow, must develop, must be prepared for the world. And when the time is right, when that child is strong enough, the mother brings forth life. So it is with our blessings. So it is with our dreams. So it is with our purpose. You may be waiting right now, waiting on an open door, waiting on a healing, waiting on a love that has not yet come. And you may be tired. You may feel like you cannot take another day of uncertainty, of wondering when things will change. But hear me when I tell you, do not lose heart. Do not allow impatience to make you settle for something less than what God has planned for you. You see, a flower does not bloom before its season. The sun does not rise before the appointed hour. The rivers do not rush before the rain has fallen. Everything in nature follows the rhythm set by the Creator, and we too must learn to trust in that rhythm. Let me tell you a story. There was a man, a good man, who worked hard every day praying for success, praying for his business to grow, praying for his dreams to come true. Year after year he labored, and year after year he saw no harvest. He saw others around him prospering. He saw doors opening for people who had not worked half as hard as he had. And one day he fell to his knees and said, Lord, have you forgotten me? Have you turned your face away? But what he did not know, what he could not see, was that God was aligning things, shifting circumstances, preparing the right people, the right moments, the right conditions. And when the time came, his blessings overflowed. Not just enough, but more than he had ever dreamed. My dear ones, listen to me. You may not see the full picture now. You may not understand why certain things have not happened for you yet. But that does not mean they never will. That does not mean God has abandoned you. Sometimes we are not ready for what we are asking for. Sometimes God is protecting us from something we cannot see. Sometimes the delay is the very thing that will make the blessing all the more beautiful when it arrives. And when it does come, you will understand why you had to wait. You will see how every moment of uncertainty, every tear, every struggle was leading you right to where you were meant to be. So stand firm, hold on, Trust the process. Trust the journey. Trust that the one who created the stars and set the ocean in its place has not forgotten about you. God's timing is not just good, it is perfect. And when your time comes, it will not be a second too early or a moment too late. It will be right on time. Waiting is a hard thing. Oh, yes, it is. It tests your patience. It tries your spirit. It makes you question everything you thought you knew about faith. Waiting can feel like standing in the middle of an empty road, calling out to the heavens and hearing nothing but the sound of your own voice echoing back. It can feel like being buried under the weight of time, left to wonder if God has truly heard your prayers, or if they've been lost somewhere between here and eternity. But let me tell you something, my dear ones. Waiting is not punishment. It is preparation. You see, we live in a world where everything moves fast. We want quick results, instant success, love that comes easy, and blessings that require no struggle. But anything worth having, anything that will truly last, must be built with care, with patience, and with time. A house that is thrown together overnight will not stand against the storm. A diamond is not formed in a moment, but through pressure and years of refining. God does not rush the things that matter. No, he takes his time. He shapes, he molds, he strengthens. And sometimes that means he makes us wait. Now, I know what waiting feels like. It feels like watching others move ahead while you stand still. It feels like pouring your heart into something only to see no results. It feels like believing, praying, hoping, and still waking up to the same unanswered questions. But let me remind you of this. Just because you cannot see the progress does not mean nothing is happening. Just because the seed is beneath the soil does not mean it is not growing. Oh, let me say that again. Just because the seed is beneath the soil does not mean it is not growing. There is a process to everything. A tree does not bear fruit the moment it is planted. No, first it must push through the darkness, send its roots deep into the earth, gain strength in its trunk, stretch its limbs toward the sky. It must endure the winds, the storms, the changing seasons, and only when it is strong enough, only when it is ready, does it begin to bear fruit. My dear ones, some of you are in that season right now. You are underground, hidden, unseen. You feel forgotten. You feel like nothing is moving, nothing is changing, nothing is happening. But you are growing. Oh, yes, you are. You are being prepared. Your roots are deepening. Your foundation is being strengthened. And when the time is right, you will rise. Do not despise the waiting. Do not curse the process. Because what God is doing in you now is setting you up for what he has planned for you next. Some of the greatest lessons are learned in the waiting. Patience, faith, resilience. These are the qualities that will carry you when the storms come. And if you do not learn them now, you will not be ready when the blessing arrives. You see, if you give a child a responsibility too soon, they will not know how to handle it. If you hand them a gift they are not mature enough to appreciate, they will waste it. But when they have learned, when they have grown, when they have been prepared, then they will know how to treasure what has been given. And so it is with us. Some of you have been asking, Lord, why haven't you given me what I prayed for? But perhaps the real question is, Lord, what do you need me to learn before you give it to me? Because the truth is, we are not always as ready as we think we are. And God, in his infinite wisdom, loves us too much to give us something before we are prepared to handle it. So instead of resenting the wait, embrace it. Instead of fighting the process, trust it. Instead of doubting, believe that God knows what he is doing. One day you will look back on this season and understand why it had to happen the way it did. You will see how the struggle shaped you, how the delay strengthened you, how the waiting prepared you for the very thing you were asking for. And when that moment comes, when the door finally opens, when the blessing finally arrives, you will not just receive it. You will be ready for it. So stand firm, hold on, keep trusting. Your time is coming. And when it does, you will see that the wait was never wasted. It was always working for your good. There is something deeply unsettling about silence. It makes us nervous. It makes us question. It makes us wonder if we have been forgotten. We live in a world that tells us that movement means progress, that noise means something is happening, that busyness is a sign of importance. And so, when we find ourselves in the stillness, when our prayers seem to echo into nothingness, when we cannot see even a flicker of change, we assume that God is not working. But my dear ones, hear me when I say this. God is always working, even when you cannot see it. You see, we judge things by what our eyes can perceive. If we do not see growth, we assume there is none. If we do not see answers, we assume there are none. If we do not see movement, we assume there is only emptiness. But faith, true, unwavering faith, does not rely on sight. It does not need to see in order to believe. I have seen a farmer plant seeds in the ground, walking row by row, covering them with soil, and then walking away. If you did not know better, you might think he had done nothing. You might think he had wasted his time pushing those tiny seeds into the earth. Because when you come back the next day, the ground looks the same. The next week, still the same. Even after a month, there is no grand display, no towering trees, no evidence of what is happening beneath the surface. But the farmer does not despair. He does not dig up the soil to check if the seeds are working. He does not question the process. He knows, oh yes, he knows, that something is happening beneath the earth, beyond his sight, beyond his control. And so he waits. And my dear ones, God is calling us to do the same. Just because you cannot see the change does not mean it is not happening. Just because you cannot hear the answer does not mean God is silent. Just because you feel stuck does not mean you are not being shifted into position for something greater. Sometimes God does his best work in the quiet. Think of the night. The world sleeps, the sky darkens, silence covers the land. It seems as if nothing is happening, and yet beneath the surface the earth is at work. The trees are still growing, the rivers are still flowing, the stars are still burning bright. The darkness does not stop the process. No, my dear ones, the darkness is part of the process. And so it is in our lives. Some of you are in a season of silence right now. You have been praying, you have been waiting, and you have been wondering, God, where are you? You have searched for signs, begged for direction, pleaded for just a whisper of his presence, but instead, you have been met with quiet. But let me tell you something. Just because God is quiet does not mean he is absent. Oh, no. A teacher is always silent during the test. A builder is always working behind the walls before the masterpiece is revealed. A great artist paints the most intricate details before unveiling the masterpiece to the world. And God, oh my dear ones, God is the master creator. He is not ignoring you. He is not forgetting you. He is shaping you. He is moving things on your behalf. He is working in the hearts of people you have not even met yet, aligning situations you cannot even fathom, preparing blessings that are far greater than what you have asked for. Some of the greatest moments in life are prepared in the silence. Joseph sat in prison for years, not knowing that God was setting him up to rule. David tended sheep in the fields, unaware that he would one day wear a crown. Esther lived in obscurity before she was called to save a nation. And you, yes, you, are being prepared for something too. So do not mistake God's silence for inactivity. Do not assume that because you do not see, there is nothing happening. Trust that he is working. Trust that he is moving. Trust that when the time is right, everything he has been preparing in the silence will come bursting forth, and you will look back on this season and see that not a moment was wasted. And when that day comes, when the doors swing open, when the answer is revealed, when the blessing arrives in full measure, you will know. You will know that God was working all along, weaving every delay, every quiet moment, every unseen struggle into something more beautiful than you ever imagined. So hold on, my dear ones, keep believing, keep trusting. because God is always working, even in the silence, even in the waiting, even when you cannot see. Faith is a beautiful thing. It is the bridge between what is and what will be, between the seen and the unseen, between the waiting and the fulfillment. But let us not fool ourselves. Faith is not always easy. Oh no, faith is a test of endurance. Faith is standing in the middle of uncertainty and saying, I trust you, Lord. Faith is walking forward, even when you do not know where the road leads. Faith is believing that God is on time, even when every clock in your life seems to be running slow. Now, I know that waiting is hard. Oh, I know. It stretches you, pulls at you, makes you question yourself, your path, your purpose. But faith, my dear ones, is not for the faint of heart. Faith is for the warrior. Faith is for the one who chooses to stand even when everything around them says, sit down. And let me tell you this, true faith requires patience. We have been conditioned to believe that fast is better. Fast success, fast money, fast answers. But anything that comes too quickly is often not built to last. And God, my dear ones, is not in the business of giving out temporary blessings. No, he is a God of endurance, a God of foundations, a God who builds things to withstand the storms. And that means sometimes you must wait. Now, waiting is not just sitting idly, twiddling your thumbs, hoping for something to change. No. Waiting is active. Waiting is a demonstration of faith. Waiting is saying, Lord, I trust you enough not to rush ahead. I trust you enough to let you work. You see, if you rush something before its time, you risk ruining it. If you build a house before it is ripe, it will be bitter. If you build a house before the foundation is set, it will crumble. If you try to force your way through a door that God has not yet opened, you may find yourself in a place you were never meant to be. But when you wait on God, when you trust his process, when you allow patience to do its perfect work, oh, my dear ones, what a difference it makes. There is something powerful about a person who trusts in divine timing. A person who does not panic when things do not go as planned. A person who stands firm, not because they have all the answers, but because they know who holds the answers. I have seen people give up too soon. I have seen them walk away from blessings that were just around the corner. I have seen them let frustration rob them of their faith. And every time I want to tell them, hold on just a little longer. Because you never know. Your breakthrough could be coming tomorrow. Your answer could be one prayer away. Your blessing could be unfolding even now. But faith requires that you hold on, even when you feel like letting go. Now, let me tell you a story. There was a woman who had been praying for years for a breakthrough. She had done everything right. She had worked hard. She had stayed faithful. She had believed. But nothing changed. And so one day, she decided that she had had enough. She was done waiting. She was tired of hoping. And she was ready to walk away from it all. But that night, in her frustration, she heard a whisper deep in her soul, one more day. And so, though she was weary, though she was ready to quit, she decided to hold on for just one more day. And then another, and then another. And do you know what happened? On the very day she had planned to give up, her breakthrough arrived. The door that had been shut for years suddenly swung open. The opportunity she had been praying for finally came. And as she stood there, overwhelmed with gratitude, she realized something. God had never forgotten her. He was always on time. Oh, my dear ones, listen to me. Do not give up too soon. Do not let impatience rob you of what God has for you. Do not let frustration steal your faith, because the truth is, if you trust him, if you wait on him, if you hold on just a little while longer, you will see that he was working all along. And when your time comes, because it will come, you will see that God was never late. No, he was preparing you. He was shaping you. He was teaching you. And when the moment is right, when you are ready, when the blessing has reached its fullness, he will release it in a way that will make you say, oh, I see now, Lord. I see why I had to wait. So stand firm, my dear ones. Hold on. Keep trusting. Because faith is not just about believing when things are easy. It is about believing when things are uncertain. It is about patience. It is about trusting that God's plan is greater than your own. And when the time is right, when the moment is perfect, he will not be a second too soon or a moment too late. He will be right on time.